like to call to order the Mahoney County Board of Elections. This is an emergency meeting to be held on today's date, February 21st, 2023, at 4 p.m. in the Mahoney County Board of Elections office, 345 Oak Hill Avenue, Youngstown, Ohio. Would the director call the roll, please?
Ms. Pesta here.
Mr. Beatrice here.
Mrs. Barger here.
Robert Orange here.
Would the vice chair lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have a moment of silence, please? All right, Chairman's report. The board called this meeting as an emergency meeting because there were problems with the affidavits that we accepted for candidate Don Leon. As a result of there being a problem with one of his affidavits, he does not have now enough signatures for a nominating petition, and so we have to reconsider his certification. And at this point, the chair would entertain a motion
I motion that we decertify Mr.
to reconsider.
I make a motion we reconsider Mr. Leon.
There's a motion to reconsider the certification of Don Leon, candidate for judge of the Struthers Municipal Court. Is there a second?
I thought we were disqualifying us as a
Well-
petition. and
Well, we have to
on the ballot.
reconsider our decision.
No, we have to wait for him to file a protest, don't we?
No, the purpose of this meeting was to reconsider our certification of him.
Okay. And
So,
our reconsideration was to take him off the ballot.
well, we have to first approve the motion,
To reconsider, okay.
and then we have to actually move on.
Okay,
So there's a motion to reconsider our certification. Is there a second to that motion?
I will second it.
All right, so let's just vote now on whether or not we're gonna have a vote on a reconsideration of his petitions. So would the director call the roll, please?
Ms. Pesta?
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice? Ms.
Yes.
Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Orange? Yes.
Okay. Now we will have a discussion about whether or not to certify his petitions. And I'm gonna say that with an augmentation, or augment it with, there was a protest about his petitions being filed. That was filed by Jim Malone, correct?
Yes.
All right. So we have to hear his protest, and I would recommend that the board at this time not certify Mr. Leon. Let him then also file a contest, and then we can have this all heard at one time.
Well, I think Mr. Leon does not have, he's run out of time to file a protest, but we have Mr. Malone's protest. So I vote that we decertify.
Whoa, what did you just say?
It's, Mr. Judge Leon has run out of time to file a protest, but there is a protest on file for Mr. Malone, so why?
Well, if we reconsider that, that should give him more time.
No, the law is clear, it was set the 7th. It's very clear about the protest date. It's very clear. What is the date? Was it 27th?
No, but we are
10 days within when we originally certified. I don't know I don't know if it resets the clock.
I believe it would. It wouldn't make any sense if it didn't reset the
It's on the
clock.
calendar, the protest has to be.
I understand, but that was based upon a decision of ours. Unless you just wanna hold the,
Protest.
you wanna hold
Malone
the
can-
abeyance.
Malone will come to the protest and he can present evidence, but I do not think he has time to file a protest. I
If
think
we
he's
kick-
run, I think he's run out of time to file a
If
protest.
we kick him off the ballot, I believe the clock would
I
reset.
would have to,
It would be protested.
Andy, you have something you want to show?
February 17th is the deadline.
May
I
I just be
understand
heard
that.
for a minute, because I think
No,
you've got
no,
the,
No, no,
that's-
no, no.
you've got the vote number wrong.
My recommendation is, I think the clock would reset. You can't reconsider a motion and then say to the person, oh, well, now you're out of time, you can't appeal our reconsideration. So we could do one of two things. We could reconsider it and vote to decertify, or we could hold it in abeyance, have the hearing on the protest, and allow Mr. Leone to present evidence, and we'll act as a quasi-judicial body. What does the board
This
wish
is
to
a
do?
quasi,
Pardon me, Joyce?
this is a quasi-judicial body right now.
No, when we actually hold the protest, we are.
The hearing is also.
Right. So what would the board's,
Well, we disqualified one of the affidavits because the address is wrong.
Well, we haven't done
Correct.
that yet.
Or do we need to do that
We
first?
need to do that first.
Okay. Then I make a motion to disqualify the affidavit with the incorrect address on the Richard Sovak,
Exactly.
South Coast.
is there a second to that? There's been a motion and a second. Is there a discussion on it? Hearing none, would the director call the roll?
Ms. Galpesta?
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice?
Yes.
Ms. Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Arch?
Now, my understanding is that since Mr. Malone has filed, he could withdraw his protest now that we've done this. So I think we should have a hearing on these signatures.
Well, it's up to Mr. Malone to make that decision. We can't make that decision for him.
I understand that. I'm just saying, if he withdrew his petition, we would not have a hearing. And so what I'm suggesting is that the clock reset, that we've now kicked Mr. Leone off, or Judge Leone off, that he has a right to appeal that decision to us.
Well, what we've done is we've taken the one signature off, which brings her to 49, so we have to take him off the ballot, correct? We have to decertify
Correct,
the
but
petition. We haven't voted on
We
that
have
yet.
decertified his petition after the time for him to file an appeal from that decision. So I would suggest, just reason and common sense would say that the clock resets as long as we have it done, 60 days before the election?
Today, which would be March 3rd.
Which would be March 3rd. So as long as we have that hearing within, and we've talked about it being March the 2nd at 4 o'clock. Is that a good time for that? So we will have a hearing on March the 2nd. Whether or not Mr. Malone keeps up his petition or not is entirely up to
His
him. But
protest, correct.
his protest, it's entirely up to him. But we have set his protest hearing for March the 2nd at 4 o'clock. Go ahead, please.
I truly disagree. I think the calendar is correct. I think that's Ohio Revised Code about the protest hearing. I think that since a protest is being heard, Judge Leone has a right to come before this body and present evidence. So we hear the protest of Mr. Malone and Mr.
Okay, let me just hypothetically throw something out there. What happens if Mr. Malone says, well, you've kicked Dom off now, I don't want to have a hearing? Which is his right to do, correct?
Correct.
All right, so we have decertified a candidate, after which they have a right to protest. It seems to me that it's just reason and common sense that the clock reset, and if we could hold it within that time, that we reset it and let them file a protest.
So what is the date that we let Mr. Malone, or Mr. Leone file his protest? What date do you give him to file that protest?
He has to file something by the date that we're holding the hearing on the existing protest.
That doesn't give us a lot of time to review things.
Well, I understand that, but I would say that he has, this week to file his protest.
So he has till the 1st? You want to give him a date, like March 1st?
Yeah, March 1st. It wouldn't make any sense that he doesn't have a right to challenge our decision if our decision comes post the day to file a complaint. I understand that protest against candidates' petitions, must be filed, but how can he file that if we made a decision post that date? And on a motion to reconsider. So, I know a little bit about the law. I mean, the law's gonna say, you can't do that. You gotta give him at least a shot to do it.
Oh, that's right.
So by March 1st, Dom Leon has to have in his protest or whatever on our decision. And we're gonna have a hearing. Having a hearing on Mr. Malone's protest, he's protesting that we accepted Dom Leon's petition, is my understanding, what you're protesting, correct, John? Okay. If we've now not allowed Dom's petitions, what are we hearing from Mr. Malone?
Well, he doesn't have to withdraw his protest, he can still, if Mr. Leon brings affidavits that would get, that certify those signatures, then he still has a protest ahead of him.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I think we have this protest hearing
On the second.
on the 2nd of March at 4 o'clock. And we'll have a court reporter and everyone can make their record and we'll go from there. Does everyone understand that? Any question?
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
Which is, if there's a protest, then there's a statutory procedure for sending out notice.
We'll do that.
Well, if you're giving them until March 1st and you're having the hearing on March 2nd, I fail to see how anybody's gonna get notified.
Well, we're sort of in uncharted waters here, John, because we allowed him the remedy at that day as opposed to disqualifying it, set it for hearing and having him bringing all this stuff in. So we could shorten his time to file his protest to, 2 days from now. Okay? Would the board entertain that motion, that if Dom's going to file anything on our motion to reconsider, it'd be done 2 days from now, so we can have a hearing within the statutory time. Am I right, Tom, or am I looking at this wrong?
Have we disqualified his petitions yet, as
No.
candidacy?
No, we have not,
We disqualified the affidavit.
Right.
which brings him to 49 signatures. So now we have to have another motion
To
to
disqualify.
disqualify.
And that's part of the protest that's been filed.
Yes.
Or you can hear everything on that day.
Doug disqualified today. We have a protest hearing set next Monday, the 2nd. And this is one of the issues within the
Yes.
protest.
It's a
No,
Thursday.
well, it's not really.
Not a Thursday, a Wednesday.
It's not really. It's not with what Mr. Uhas wrote, as I understand. I don't have Mr. Uhas's letters.
Of course, we're aware of it, so the board's aware of it, so we can have this the 2nd, next week. We can deal with this then next week.
I'm sorry, the 1st, it's on the 1st,
We can-
March 1st.
Judge Ulon doesn't have the ability to file a protest. It would be a reconsideration,
Consideration.
which is the board doesn't have to hear. His remedy is actually the courts,
Right.
not us. But we've always allowed candidates that are disqualified to come back for reconsideration, which isn't covered under protest or deadlines.
Isn't that what today? Isn't that what we're hearing right now, that his motion for
This was
reconsideration?
an emergency meeting,
For reconsideration.
reconsideration, decertification.
Right. So this is the meeting that we should consider whether his petitions are valid or not valid.
And it's just, I think our short signatures now, that this will
Correct.
shortest signature. So, if you want to have a protest hearing, Don would always have to file today. Maybe it's that for
With a
next week.
5-day notice.
5-day notice. Somehow we got the cart before the horse, which is fine, we're here to correct that. But if you're gonna,
I just want to make sure we're following the law and doing it correctly. All right, and I believe that this board believes in the suffrage of the voters. And so we should defer to the voters and let them choose who their office holders are, not us. I mean, that would be my druther.
I think our recommendation then would be, it sounds like, disqualify him from the ballot today, and then it's incumbent upon Judge Leon or someone to file reconsideration on that, because it's not a protest.
Right.
but we're also sitting on top of Jim Malone's protest, which if we disqualify him, Jim doesn't have to have a protest hearing. But there are other issues within the protest besides this affidavit, so I'd assume we'd go ahead with the protest. We don't know.
In other words, one of the things that the protest you could say is, what we're doing is full of crap, and we can't do it. We'd certainly entertain that argument. I'm assuming you'd have a procedural argument as well as a substantive argument, correct?
Right, so, but if you're disallowing his petitions, we may determine that that's moot, but then if you're just saying, well, we're disallowing his petitions, but we might allow reconsideration of that,
And I think this
I'll know
board
that he
is,
can withdraw his protest.
this board has always allowed reconsideration for candidates.
Correct.
And there's really no deadline on that. That's a board decision to
Yeah.
reconsider, not a protest deadline.
Here's the point. We are gonna have a hearing on March the 1st. No, the 1st. March 1st is a Wednesday.
Me too. Wednesday
March
first.
1st. Wednesday, March 1st, 4 o'clock.
So I think Mr. DeFarge would like to speak on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Well,
recognize.
could we make the motion to take Leon off the ballot first and then move forward instead of,
Because we don't do that, there is
Yes.
right, we have to do that first.
All right, so the board would entertain a motion to not certify Judge Leon's petitions
Due to a lack of signature.
due to a lack of signatures. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, we've had a lot of discussion. Do we want to move to a vote, or do we want to talk more?
I think we moved.
All right,
We need to vote.
we need to vote then. Would the director call the roll?
Ms. Galpesta.
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice.
Yes.
Ms. Barger.
Yes.
Mr. Orange.
Yes.
All right, now the chair would entertain a motion to set a hearing on March 1st, which is a Wednesday, at 4 o'clock, and to do immediate notice to all those
With the protest hearing.
with a protest hearing, and we'll entertain all the arguments they want to make as a quasi judicial board. Is there a motion for the second at 4?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Okay, would the director call the roll,
Ms.
please?
Galpesta.
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice.
Yes.
Ms. Barger.
Yes.
Mr. Orange.
Yes.
All right. Mr. DeFabio, did you?
Two things, two questions. If I understand what you're saying, if you disqualify one affidavit, we are now at 49, correct? And it's one affidavit we're dealing with. Okay. And the count the last time we were here was mentioned as being 45, not 46. But there is a single petition out there that has 2 signatures on it, one of which was allowed, one which wasn't. And if you look on whoever wrote those numbers and following the checks, there is a number 46 at the top of the petition. And it's, I believe, that 4th petition, that singular valid signature was not added in.
Mr. DeFabio, go ahead.
So I just want to clarify that that there are 4 total petitions, and that your reading is there are 45 votes, whereas what we count is 46.
Our staff triple checked and counted 45. That's why you provided 5 affidavits, not 4. We accepted those affidavits. On double check of the affidavits, one affidavit is bad. That shouldn't be allowed.
No,
I can say this, in my 25 years here, that was some of the worst petitions we've ever seen here.
no, no.
In the signatures and
Yeah, well.
circulations. On the second
And
attempt.
also,
I guess what I'm just
added number.
clarifying is,
Lou's saying there's 46 signatures.
No, I went through these petitions over the weekend, petition, signature by signature. There are 45 petitions, 45 good signatures, 49 actually, with 4 good affidavits and 1 bad affidavit. And the affidavit is very bad.
And I think this issue, whether it's 45 or 46, should be covered at the protest
Right.
hearing. and
That,
reconsideration.
no, that's fine, but I just want to clarify, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
It's
and I think
one vote short,
At
correct?
that point, you can make the argument it actually was 46, and we can make the argument it's 45 and come to an understanding at that point, not today.
So, no, and I don't want to, but to clarify, so on my petition, someone wrote 46 total, the copy that I have. I'm just wondering if that's from the
Well,
board.
here's what we have. We have the original petitions you filed. You are free to
Well,
come
I-
in and look at them, compare them with the affidavits, and make an argument if you think there's 50 valid signatures. Our staff believes there's 49 valid signatures, and therefore you're one short.
Okay. Second question then, are you saying I do not have to file a protest, but instead I am asking for reconsideration of today's vote?
That is correct.
And does that need to be, Attorney Beatrice, you said something like in a day or two, and I don't know, I'm just trying to, I don't want to get knocked down.
Well, we have to give notice to the public 5 days before a hearing. So 5 days before would be today, so we have to notify everyone today. So if you can get it in today, be just a motion to reconsider, or to a petition to reconsider our decision to disqualify him from the ballot.
Today by fax?
You can do it at the counter.
You can do it at the counter, it can be handwritten.
Okay, well, that's what I'll do.
Just so long as you serve Mr. Uhas with your motion to reconsider.
He didn't serve me with his protest.
Well, we will give you his protest, yeah.
Because the statute requires notice to be sent to the protestor and the subject of the protest.
Well, he's represented now, so you still want it sent to him, or you want it sent?
I don't mind sending it to him, but I'm saying the reason I didn't is because the statute requires notification from the board. It's just like filing a complaint, the clerk serves the summons.
Correct, and we'll be sending notifications out tonight.
All right. And John, you're certainly free to make structural arguments too. If you think procedurally we're off, then, brief it or let us know. I mean, our basic philosophy is suffrage of the voters, not, did you get your petition correct? That's taking it away from the voters. So that's what this board's ethos is. But if there's something that prohibits us from doing what we did, I'd certainly want to see it. All right? Okay. Now, is Dion Dowdy Lacey has requested that we reconsider her petitions. Are you here?
I don't
Is-
have copies of anything. Please.
We got a letter.
I got a copy of the list. Petition stuff.
Oh, Danny has it, okay. Should we hear what, should we
Does
hear?
everybody get a folder? Or we'll check it out?
No, I see, well, Tom will explain it to you before you start taking it.
Can I see this?
Right, Tom?
What?
He's gonna go over it with you real quick before you start taking it.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Director.
Yeah, at the last meeting, we looked at these petitions, you reviewed them, and we're looking at the page, I think is right in front of you. And it's censurers 11 through 18.
Yeah.
The board, 11 through 19, the board determined the voters at the same address, or people at the same address, and they're all the same signature. At the time, we recommended that the board had two options, whether to just take the petition as a whole and not count the signatures, or invalidate the whole part petition, which the board decided to invalidate the whole part petition based on 9 fraudulent signatures, with the option of the candidate to come in with the circulator to explain what happened here.
Okay, so Dion Dowdy Lacey, are you here?
I am,
All right, is your circulator here?
yes, I am.
Okay, so can you explain to us what happened here?
Well, I work at the Southern Tavern, so a lot of my customers is down in her ward. I know that, they came in and they was down there and they signed a petition there in her ward. As far as, like, you'll see like Bobby Johnson and Bobby Johnson, they're in the same household. So
Well,
I
those are
don't
the
know,
ones-
some of the customers came in there and signed, we didn't know the process, all we know is a lot of customers came in and signed.
From here to
Well,
there.
So see, I don't know about
on
that. All I-
11 through 19, or 11 through 18, it looks like the same person.
Well, I got, when the paper got
How
to
about, wait a
me,
minute, before we go further, just so the record is
Okay.
clear, could you state your name
Lisa Wilkins,
and could you spell your last name, please?
Wilkins.
And Lisa Wilkins, you are the circulator of the part petition that we disqualified the whole petition, correct?
Right, so, like, these addresses from,
It's not just
Warren.
the addresses, so you know.
well, what I'm saying is, I went to a couple of doors and at my job, people signed them, so this is not even the one that I did. I had a different paper, like where you see where it says Bobby Johnson and Bobby Johnson on, I think it's Brayton or Carroll. So I did those. These right here aren't even mine.
So you signed a petition.
So it's another
Saying-
one, it's a couple on here from my job
No, wait a minute.
that I can remember.
So there is Bobby Johnson on 21 and 22.
Right, so that's the slip that I
So are
had.
you stating that the ones above it you didn't do?
No.
But you signed a petition saying you witnessed 30.
Well, like right here,
No, listen, hold on a second.
okay,
You signed a statement underneath saying that you saw all 32 signatures.
oh, well, see, I didn't know that it was for me signing all 32 signatures. All I know is where you see Bobby Johnson on down, that's where my customers came in and I went to a couple of doors and did those signatures. So I know for a fact Bobby Johnson and Bobby Johnson on Carroll Street because those are,
Listen to me, I
Okay.
hear what you're saying.
okay,
You're saying when you got this petition, those first 19
Right.
signatures were
right,
already there?
right,
Okay,
right.
that makes it worse for you, not better, because
Well, see, I
basically
didn't know
what you're
the
telling board-
process.
I understand that, but
Okay.
basically what you're telling the board is, you just made an attestation to something that is not true. You did not witness all 32 signatures.
Oh, well, not all, I witnessed the ones that I did, so I didn't know the process. All I know is that my customers and the people of the district, you know, we was just trying to elect, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't know
I know,
the
but here-
process
but
of
here-
all 32. I didn't know that I was responsible for all 32.
Well,
What
you
I know that,
signed- You signed an attestation clause. Let me tell you what you signed.
Okay.
It says, I, Lisa Wilkins,
right,
declare under penalty of election falsification that I reside at the address appearing below my signature,
right,
that I am a member of the Democratic Party, that I am the
Right.
circulator of the foregoing petitions containing 32 signatures, that I
okay,
witnessed the affixing of every signature, that all signers, to the best of my knowledge and belief, are qualified to sign, and that every signature, to the best of my knowledge and belief, is of the person. Well, that's
Okay.
completely inaccurate,
Okay.
because the first 19 signature, first 20 or 19 signatures, you're saying you never saw them sign them.
no, what I'm saying is, correct. Correct. What I'm saying is from when I started helping, it came from, you know, where I started. So yes, you're absolutely correct. So I didn't witness the first ones that came on. When I got the paper, I started from where I started from, so I didn't, so yes,
So
you're
I
correct.
don't think there's any intention of fraud.
There was no
I
intention
think
on
it's
my
just
behalf.
misrepresentation
I apologize
on
to
your
the,
behalf, but it still would disqualify the whole part petition.
okay. We understand.
But I really don't feel that you committed any
I-
fraud.
No, I don't
honestly
think you
did
committed
not
fraud,
try
but the point
to-
is, that would be a fatal flaw then, right?
Fatal fraud.
It's a fatal flaw for you to put a number down there that you did not
Okay,
witness.
I
That would be a
understand.
fatal flaw.
I understand.
For that.
We understand, we understand now the process.
Yeah, and then we didn't, but, you know.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, you're not for next time.
So I make
We
a
do.
motion that we,
we
well, we
already
stand
did.
by our.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any.
Okay.
All right, the director's report.
None today.
Any unfinished business? No?
I have something I would like to say, Mr. Chairman. I would like petitions to be handled in the way that I presented them today when I did my check. And I think it's good for us to have the petition copied in front of us and for it to list the different reasons and the different names on each petition. So when we're looking at something, we're just not blind to what is being put before us.
I don't think we ever were blind, I mean, we kind
Well,
of
no,
knew.
sometimes I don't see petitions, Mr. Beatrice.
Oh, you don't see the petition?
Yes, sometimes I don't see what you pass down.
So
to
what
me.
you're recommending is when we're approving petitions, that-
We have, like, something in front of us that says the reason for each signature not being checked, or for each signature not being qualified, or, you know, what person not being registered at that address, whatever the reasons are. Because when we look at a blank petition, we just see NG or OP, or,
I think that's a good idea.
I mean,
And we
So
would,
Yes,
if there
you
was
had-
a petition with 70-some signatures and 30-some were disqualified, as in this case, you would know about all 30-some.
seven, right,
Prior 37, right, that were disqualified.
yeah,
right.
Then you would know about all of the signatures and not just the ones that were being talked about in the moment.
that's correct.
Right, and I think it would just behoove us, because we've had so many problems with petitions, that it would be good for this board to know ahead of time what each issue was.
Okay. All right, so that's something for the director and assistant director.
Right.
All right, any, increase rates. So, we are meeting March 1st, are we also gonna meet March 7th, or are we gonna try to do everything on March 1st?
For the reorganization.
Yeah,
I think we should do both, like the first and the seventh. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, don't do them all at once.
yeah, that probably makes a lot of sense, this way I don't wanna have to rush it with any arguments or whatnot. All right, so our next regularly scheduled meeting and reorganization meeting for the Mahoney County Board of Elections is set for Tuesday, March 7th at 4 PM. And we have a motion to reconsider and a protest on March 1st at 4 PM.
Don't we have to be done by
March
For
6th
the
is the
reorganization.
reorganization.
before March
No,
6th?
we have to have it filed with the state date on March
By March 6th, so prior, right?
12th. Yeah,
Well-
prior to March 7th.
Find the notes here, does it say March 7th?
Because that's what we originally set it for, correct?
Oh, I see. That was
Is that
our-
right?
That's our regular
That was what
Tuesday
it
meeting.
was
so-
before, but Shamori said it has to be before by the 6th.
That's our March meeting.
Correct.
So you wanna try to do everything on the 1st? I mean, it's just a quick vote for reorganization.
Signatures.
Signatures, it shouldn't be that problem. It's a perfunctory kind of thing.
Yeah,
5-minute process.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
okay.
All right, we'll do it on March 1st then. So let the press know that we'll have a reorganization meeting that day also. All right, is there anything else that I'm missing from any other board member? I'm sorry, what did you say, Annie? I did new business. Is there anything for the good of the order? Anyone in the public? No? All right. So we will see everyone here on March 1st at 4 PM. There will be a court reporter. We will be making a record. Pretty fancy and loose, I mean, fast and loose with what you can say and not say. We don't quasi judicial fact finding and whatnot. Okay? All right, if I hear anything more, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Did you want to say something? No, you didn't want to say it? That's okay, you look like you wanted to say something, okay.
All right, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting is now adjourned.